Hello, dear friends. What a blessing to be with you today. Here we are to discuss and reflect and learn from Emmanuel. We are here at the Spiritist Magazine program every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We read and reflect in one of articles of the Spiritist magazine. As always, we feel compelled to let you know that you can find all of this content free of charge at spiritistmagazine.org. And it is always a joy and an honor to be with you. So if you go to spiritistmagazine.org or you open your app or you look for the PDFs already downloaded in your computer, I'd like you to visit issue 39. It's an article by Emmanuel titled Before the Pioneers. It's a wonderful chapter. So today we will be talking about pretty much it's an invitation. Last week we talked about service. Today it's an invitation to gratitude, because when we are here, and this will first air in 2022, whichever way you're watching this, live or on demand, you're listening to us on SoundCloud, or you've liked and subscribed to our YouTube pages, we want you to feel that these teachings are, because they are, timeless. So there is always wisdom in anything that we read from the superior spirits, right? So today is Before the Pioneers. It's an invitation to feel grateful for all that we have, all that others have done before we came along, so that we can be here today. I'll give you a very simple example. I'm very grateful and thankful for those who invented the computer, the microphone, the camera. They had the labor of love. Their inventions, their knowledge came about to bring to you and I the tools that I'm using today to spread this good news of the promised consoler. And also I'm thankful to Emmanuel, and as always to Xavier for their dedication, so that we can have these teachings today together. So today is about Before the Pioneers. I always browse with you a little bit. I always wanted to feel comfortable looking through the issues of the magazine. This is a PDF file that should be easily open in any modern computer. This is what the cover of the magazine looks like. We have articles from the book Spiritist Conduct by Andrea Louise. We have things from Brian Foster, Allan Kardec. Those are articles from the original Spiritist magazine. We have talked about some of these before. This is a chapter from the book Good News that's translated, not yet published in English. We have another article from the Spirit Dr. Dias da Cruz, which we talked about before. And today we're talking about pioneers, those who came above us, before us. And some are above us, and relatively speaking, right? Because for you and I to be here, we were once an embryo, and then a fetus, and then a child, an infant, and then a child. Others cared for us. Others put in the systems that you and I used growing up, the houses, the streets, the educational system, and others have taught us good things, moral value things that we bring to our adulthood as well. And I always like to remind folks that many of the issues of the magazine are for the young and the young at heart. At the end of most issues, you have also a story that you can read to the children if you have children at home, either yours or you're caring for someone else's. So there's many opportunities for us to use this content for our improvement. Let's go back to the article Before the Pioneers. We can remove the sidebar, and then we have a larger font so we can read. Shall we? Welcome everybody. Feel free to leave a comment, to share, like, subscribe, so others can take advantage of it as well. So Emmanuel says, remember the sacrifices of the pioneers of progress who preceded you in the human journey, so that you advance on earth without the blindness of ingratitude. So everything that we know we have today is the heritage we received from someone else. From the genes we have that came from our parents to the legacy we have in our neighborhoods. There's a history, there are hands, visible and invisible, there are ideas and minds and actions that brought you and I. The blessings we see today from the blessings that God gave us with the beauty of nature to the physical things. The people who come before us, not only, as I mentioned, to build things that make our lives easier, but also the pioneers such as Allan Kardec, Leon Denis, many others in the beginning of the dissemination and establishment of Spiritism that have built the legacy that we receive today. So we go about our day not with the blindness of ingratitude, but with the mindfulness and the awareness of the interconnectivity of all of us. He says, do not forget those who wept and suffered. Let me see if I can make it a tiny little bigger, a little larger. There you go. That might not be possible. Barely. Do not forget those who wept and suffered, plowing the soil in which you ingested the first blessing of bread. And do not forget how many were mutilated at work so that comfort and hygiene would support your body. Even when we go to the modern marvels of grocery stores, the products there come from someone else's labor, all kinds of labor. Even when we bring a product home and we bake our own bread, we still had someone plow the soil, grow the wheat, and all so on and so forth. So we don't forget about them, so we could have the comforts of today. It says, do not relegate to indifference those who have been deprecated to have the legal order, guaranteeing you security, and those who died in the jails. There you go. Often slandered and betrayed, so that freedom blesses your existence. So we thank those who in the past fought so that we could have the rights, for example, of free speech and freedom of religion that you and I have. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to be spreading the good news of Spiritism, because we would be confined to a specific set of values from someone else, right? Consecrating a memory and altar of reference to those who have given the treasures of education, so that learning on the earth will lead you to the higher spirituality. Have we thought about those in preschool, or those who taught us when we were in preschool, kindergarten, learning the alphabet, putting the syllables together, learning how to compose sentences so that we can read these teachings today? The blessings of those who taught us a different language, the blessings of those who taught us how to walk, how to ride a bicycle, how to drive, how to do things, how to study, how to plan our days, how to have a calendar, so that we can have a more productive and mindful existence. So the learning on the earth can lead you to higher spirituality. We can choose to use the ability to read and write, to indulge in spiritual matters such as the Spiritist magazine. We can use those talents to translate messages, to create content, or we can remain stagnant in idleness when we choose lesser. And it's relative, right? Because I'm putting a value on it. Other types of content that leads us to not fulfilling God's laws. There's a lot of content, there's a lot of people using their talents to spread um, negative things, to spread violence, to spread a calling to the satisfaction of the senses alone. There's people composing music that is not very elevated. There's people producing books that sow discord. So we can choose to learn, use the learning we've had, in this case, to learning how to read, how to have an education, so that we can elevate ourselves and others, the spirit friends who are with us, taking part on these teachings, and also those who live with us as well. Emmanuel says, "You are the beneficiary of the field in each were welcomed by the kindness and hope of those who saw you born." Yes, someone was kind and compassionate to care for us when we were young. And this goes even beyond just the cradle, the home we were welcomed into, even though those experiences may have been difficult for some of us. When we choose a profession, for example, as a scientist, I know that what I have a legacy of caring for today is built on the by the fact that I was welcomed into a circle of knowledge, and you put things into, you put the effort, and science builds upon itself. That is the same with any project in life. Our family circles are built for generations and relationships. And when we were welcomed in the earth, not only by the Master Jesus, but also by those related to us, we are their beneficiaries because we needed to have their kindness. And they looked upon us and said, "I'm going to invest my time on you." And then we were able to be fused with the love and, of course, the physical sustenance to be here today. It says, "You inherited from them, from those who saw you born in our families, the experience that suffering has bestowed on you. Also, the many sweat and goodwill in the world, so life in the world becomes better." So we inherited our circumstances, we've sown and grown and created our circumstances. What do I mean? When we find ourselves anywhere in the world, it's the result of the choices I've made in this life, in previous life, and many lives ago. But now I'm ready to go through those experiences. So it's a matter of what learning do I need, where will I be able to serve the best, and who are the spirits that will come together in order to improve one another and to grow together. So whatever we are building today is where we're going to find ourselves in the afterlife. So that's what's important, to be grateful and mindful of the legacy we're leaving behind and the legacy that we inherited, so we can make better choices, we can improve ourselves and care for those who are under our tutelage, right? He says, "Do not lose yourself in the labyrinths of unprofitable inquiry, asking whether cruelty is greater to them than yesterday in the human pathway." So we are here to make ourselves better. And when we make ourselves better, I mean from learning new things, improving, getting knowledge, but that needs to be applied to the overall good. Go to the book, Final Life. There's a chapter on education, another one on profession, for example, that Emmanuel teaches us that. But also we need to think about not how cruel and bad today is, or if it's better than yesterday, if this generation compares to another generation, but how can I be an agent of goodness and progress today? How can I be better today? Because he says that kind of inquiry is unprofitable. We're not going to gain much from those kinds of discussions. What we learn from is, what did I do? What were my actions? What were the consequences? How can I get better? Could I have done something different? And goes back to questions and answers 919 of the Spirit's book. that St. Augustine describes to us a beautiful way of gaining the self-knowledge that the Spirits tell us is the way to break from selfishness and pride, which means self-awareness, knowledge, journaling, making those daily reflections on how to get better. Now, a call to action. Give to the earth the best you can, the best of you in the form of unselfish and constant service. Today is the day. Unselfish and constant service. Can I give up a few hours of my day to do something good, to give to this Mother Earth the best in us? We are indebted to the earth for receiving us through the millennia, probably, and all of the growth it has allowed us to have, and all the things as human beings we've done to nature that has been detrimental to the earth. So we owe Mother Earth the ability to be here today. And of course, we owe the superior spirits who created the earth under the guidance of Jesus, who care for the spiritual development of the earth, and the governor of the planet who is leading the way, our way to the light, right? When we give the earth the best we can so that the earth, the good can prevail. So we don't focus on those unprofitable inquiries of is it today worse than yesterday, but what good can I give? How can I give the best in me to the earth around me? And when I say the earth, I mean not just the humans in the physical form, reincarnated and discarnate beings, but also the mineral, the vegetable, and the animal kingdoms that live and evolve with us on the earth. Initiating your own soul, in your own soul, the redemptive work of love that covers everything. So that's the work within us, redemption through love. And returning tomorrow to the great school of human experience, you'll find it more noble and more beautifully converted, with the portion of your effort in the antechamber of the life in the heavens. So to make today better, if we make the earth, we give the best of us to the earth. We improve it, we help it, we clean it, we protect its environment. Tomorrow, when we reincarnate, if we're granted the opportunity to reincarnate in the planetary transition in the world of regeneration, we're talking decades, centuries from now, we will inherit what we did today. So today, it's very important that each and every action be mindful. We can give the best we can to the earth and to its inhabitants in all realms of life and all kingdoms of life. So let's go out today with the words of Emmanuel that is in the book Nascer e Renascer, which will be born and to be reborn, through Chico Xavier, and that's lesson 21 of the book. Of course, the book is yet not translated. It's translated but not published in English, but you can have it firsthand in the Spiritist magazine issue 39. Dear friends, what a blessing to be with you. Have any questions, comments? Would you like to be a part of the team? Would you like to translate? Do you have any talents of writing? Write to the editor, spiritistmagazine@gmail.com. The website, spiritistmagazine.org. You can use the contact form, and that way you can contact the Spiritist magazine editor-in-chief that way as well. What a blessing. Thank you so very much, dear friends, for your patience, for your kindness, for the honor of being with you today. God willing, I'll be back with you next week. Stick around. Our dear friend Carol Correa is going to be with you at 9 p.m. studying the divine laws as presented to us in the Spirit's book. Have a great day. Bye-bye.